Hello, everyone. My name is Adrian. I'm one of your facilitators for this meeting. Haley, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, hi everyone. I'm Haley. I'm also the co-facilitator for this meeting.
Um, we are going to be talking about stress, and anxiety, self-help for college students. I just want to let everybody know that everything that we talk about in this group, won't be discussed outside, of this meeting. Everything's pretty confidential. We ask that everyone remain respectful of everybody else's opinions, discussions, feelings, things of those nature. This is a safe space for everybody to discuss their anxieties and stressors. Please know that everyone, handles situations differently. And again, we just ask that you support those decisions and their beliefs and things like of those nature. Does anyone have any questions before we begin?
No.
No. Okay.
Nope.
All right. Would everyone like to introduce themselves and kind of just give a brief sentence or two on things that give them stress or anxiety throughout their college experience?
I'll go first. I'm Sheree. Um, Deadlines, discussion, the discussions on Wednesdays that I usually forget.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Bad.
Mhm.
Yes.
I can go next. I'm Malia, and I would definitely say just time management and trying to fit things in. I'm just a busy girl. I play basketball at Briarcliff, and so we're just trying to manage that. Plus, with all of my homework and extra things, it's hard sometimes.
I can go next. I'm Allison. I would say the biggest things that give me stress and anxiety is just balancing everything that I've got going on with school and work and especially mental health and things like that. I would say that's the biggest source of my stress is just trying to navigate through all of those experiences.
Um, my name's Alyssa, and I'd say something that gives me a lot of stress is kind of like not really knowing how to enforce boundaries with other people. So that can lead to things like people pleasing and stuff like that. And I'm just like always like anxious about like disappointing other people or something like that. So that causes me a lot of stress.
Louis, would you
I'm
like to?
yeah,
There you
I'm
go.
Louis, and definitely the thing that's the biggest stressor for me is I'm full time at work. I'm also the only caseworker in a facility of 50 people, and I'm doing three roles literally at the same time. Plus, I'm in school full time with I had seven courses all at one time
Oh, gee.
this term, and I had to drop one of them because it was too much. But I'm still at six,
Mhm.
so I think it's just a massive workload, and I guess I thought that I was younger when I picked it up. I could handle it. I guess if I was younger, I could. But yeah, it's a little tough when you're older.
Feel like it's important to recognize that like everybody has their own stressors. Like
Mhm.
every like all as we can tell, like everybody's coming from their own place of like what's stressing them out. Like Malia said, like
Mhm.
basketball is a full-time job. And then he also like Louis has a full-time job, and then everybody else, like deadlines are crazy important. And if you're late, it can possibly be a zero. So like just making sure that like you're on top of everything and
I'm
like
ex-
everybody has their own workload and what they have to do when they have to work and stuff like that. So I feel like that's important to recognize.
can I add something
Go
to my?
ahead.
I
Yeah.
forgot to add this, y'all. So I work with I'm an in-school suspension teacher, so I work with middle school kids all day, and then I come home to my own two kids that are
Mhm.
16 and 9.
I was gonna say, yeah, see like
On
kids,
top of
family, like all
yeah.
that. It's all the like own stressors of why people stress. And like I think people like really didn't realize that like when you're talking with people, like you never know where their stress is coming from or what
Mhm.
they're experiencing outside of like what you're doing with them. So like people see each other in school all the time, but like everybody has their own life outside of school. So I think it's important to recognize that. That's kind of why we're gonna have the self-help group. So I was gonna talk about like what the connection between stress and anxiety is. So like obviously there's going to be like the mind, so racing thoughts, trouble sleeping, burned out. Everybody knows those common ones. Does anyone have any other examples of anything that's like the mind that is like a connection between stress and anxiety?
I have one. Um, Sometimes when I get so stressed and like I know I have so much on my plate, I actually do like the opposite of what I'm supposed to do and I don't do anything because I'm so stressed about like everything all at once.
Yes.
So then I just like go on my phone or I like take a nap or because I
You
know
just want
it's
to get
all
anything
there.
but that's like what you
Yeah, it's
have to
like
do. It's like,
daunting. Yeah.
yeah.
I
Anybody
think they
else?
call that like task paralysis when you have so many tasks to do that you don't even know which one to start. And so you
Yeah.
kind of just, you're paralyzed and you don't start one at all. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
Mhm.
Yeah. I would say for me, a big symptom or sign that I know I'm kind of in a stressed or anxious place is I do a lot of overthinking about things. When things are very, could be very straightforward and simple, I don't know if it's just my brain finds comfort in it or I don't really know exactly, but I can definitely tell that's a big sign for me is just overthinking things, even if they're tiny or simple.
Yeah.
One of the challenges, I think, especially with neurodivergent people, is pathological demand avoidance. It's getting overwhelmed with so many things going on at one time, or absorbing so much information or processing and trying to slot everything where it's supposed to go that all of a sudden the brain can't take anymore, and so it kind of shuts
Mhm.
off and stops working. And and then it's like, okay, I got to get up and I got to do something else because I just can't take anymore. And so that's certainly something that I feel at times when it's just I've had enough. It's time to go for a walk, take a
Yeah.
shower, meditate, do something, just chill out, go get a meal, whatever, and then come back, and then the brain has a chance to reset. Yeah.
Yeah. And then, of course, there's obviously going to be like effects on the body also. So, like, I've seen people with like increased heart rate, dizziness, weakened immune system. Like, you see people who are like always stressed out that are sick all the time, stuff like that, because you just can't, you're not taking care of yourself because of the stress connection, stuff like that. Is there any other things that you guys have like on the body of how you see a connection between them?
Breaking out acne.
You're right. That's right.
Hey,
Yes.
yep, 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 yep.
Yes.
Mood.
I yes, I feel like I'm back in high school and I'm going through puberty right now. So
Yes.
and I'm putting pimple patches on my face every other day. So now I'm
Yeah. My
Girl,
mom's like,
I'm
"Are
the
you stressed again?"
same.
Yes.
No, literally, and I could go off about that. Same.
Another
Yeah.
Um,
one, I guess, could be when you're so anxious, you feel like you can't eat anything.
mm,
Like
Hmm.
Oh yeah, that's a huge
you're
one.
about to eat and like you feel like you're gonna throw it up. It's like
yeah.
that feeling
I'm
in
gonna
your
say,
stomach.
yeah, sometimes I do that or I binge eat too. Like
Yes, or
I want
you
to
go to the
eat
other
so
end,
much
stress
because like that's the only thing that's bringing me any type of happiness is like, okay, I'll just eat because a meal sounds great and nothing
That,
else does.
that was me this week, eating everything in
Just want
sight.
to eat anything and everything inside. Yes. Okay, and then also the long-term effects, of course, like sleep disturbance and depression, like long-term depression, which obviously is never okay. So, like seeing these signs early is important so that those long-term effects don't affect us for the rest of our life because we've stressed so much out about in the school and stuff like that. I am gonna attach a link in the thing, and we're gonna have you guys watch a TED Talk for next time, and then we'll just have everyone bring back thoughts about what happened, and how you guys thought about the TED Talk. So I'll just attach that in the chat. If everyone just can let me know if they get that in.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
um, just to kind of make some connections between what everyone has been saying, it seems like something that a lot of college students, whether, you just came out of high school or whether you're going back to school, something that people experience a lot of stress or anxiety about is just, you know, the load of everything, whether it's you're a full-time student, you have a full-time job, and you have a family, you have relationships, you have friends, just trying to pack everything into your life, into your brain, it just gets to the point where people pop. Um, and something I've just been listening, kind of just watching what everyone was saying. It's Sports, kind of like what Malia said, sports is a full-time job. My sister plays full-time softball and she's also in school, and sometimes it's just too much. So, um, everyone just needs to find good ways to relieve stress and anxiety. And sometimes there are things that don't always help. Sometimes it's putting things off to the side. And I'm not going to say procrastinating because not everything is procrastination. It's where you have so much to do that you can't do anything at that point. This is something that I struggle with a lot. I have made lists of things I need to get done, and I'll set that on my nightstand and then I'll take a nap.
Mm.
Yep.
It's something I have a really hard time struggling with. And as college students, we try to be good students and good children and good partners and good employees, but sometimes it gets to the point where it is too much on our plate, and that just causes stress and anxiety. And this is just what this self-help group is for. We're trying to find ways that we can relieve the stress and achieve all of our goals and make sure that we're just doing the best we can. Does anyone have any questions, comments, or concerns so far?
Nope.
Nope. Nope.
Nope.
All right. So I feel like we always like can find ways to de-stress. Like everybody has their own example of what helps them de-stress or what helps them calm down in a situation that just seems like so overwhelming. And I think if like some people don't have that yet, like some people have tried so many things like deep breathing and stuff like that, and it just doesn't work for people. And so I feel like it's important to talk about what the different options are and like hear insights from other people of what they do. So I feel like when I'm stressed out and it just feels like so overwhelming, I always want to take my dog for a walk. Like I'm my best friend, that's my best friend. So like if I can go walk her for 20 minutes, like, and I just feel like the world's fine again. So I feel like that's just like my go-to. And I know that um, everybody has their own. So if anyone wants to share something that they do that could help others, that'd be great.
I'll go. I have like three things I do. I listen to music. I'll get in the car and turn it up. My best
Yes,
songs
I
playlist.
love that.
Go driving just to just sightsee. Um,
Yep.
Journaling. I love writing to myself, writing little affirmations, just writing little things to me, saying nice things to me.
Hmm.
And then the next one is listening to meditation music.
Mm.
Like
Okay.
just
Yeah,
relax, nothing else on, dark meditation music.
I love
Mm.
that.
I can relate to that, but instead of like meditation music, I'm listening to like rain sounds.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it's
I
like
have
kind of the
like
same
The
thing.
I love
natural
that. Yeah,
Yeah,
way.
they're like
Yeah.
they're
it's kind of the
they
same
like work
thing.
together.
yeah, they kind of work together. I'll put on like thunderstorm sounds or
Yep.
something
I love that.
really like
The
that.
thunderstorm sleep is like the best sleep, so I get
Yeah,
that 100%.
that helps for me.
I would say for me, I'm also really into journaling. It's something that I've kind of always done it kind of sporadically throughout my life, but especially this year, I've picked it up as a big habit. I feel like it's a good way to like physically move the thoughts from your brain to the paper. That's a really big thing for me. And then also I really like video games. I feel like they help me because I'm able to kind of immerse myself into a different world and spend time doing something that I really enjoy, and it helps to get my brain off of all of the other stuff that I've got going on. So those are kind of my main two ways that I relieve stress and anxiety.
For me, I think I need to like talk about it and get it off my chest. So I call my mom and she's a good
Okay.
listener.
Yes.
But I think it helps me if I get all of it out of my brain, kind of like what you guys were saying with like writing it down. I
Hmm.
do better when I just verbalize it all
Yeah, I was
to
gonna
my
say I can
mom.
just like ramble for like 20
Yes.
minutes to my mom
And
and
then I
just
feel
like, okay,
better. Yeah.
I'm fine. Everything's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Do you have anything to say, Louis? Anything that helps you?
Yeah, just as I noted before, kind of going for walk, showers, things like that. Those are always good. They sometimes it's a blend of the two where there are times of the day when a walk would be just fine, and others where sitting quietly is much better. So
Yes.
it depends. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think we can all see how like everybody has their own ways of how they decide to deal with stress, and it's important to recognize that because some people don't like to talk, and it can like honestly aggravate people more. That
Mhm.
like being talked to during times of like distress is absolutely horrible, and other people love to just ramble. So being able to be open to everyone and what they want and what they need is so important. And I think this kind of gives you like an idea of that everybody has their own ways. So
Mm.
um, and so then I feel like we're gonna look at like a real life scenario. So like if I was like if I had like six finals on the in 1 week, whatever, I had six finals to do and I didn't know what to do. And I was just thinking about every single one and I could not calm down. And I just feel like if I was putting it into like a real life scenario, like obviously it's the beginning of the week and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna start off the week with a walk with my dog just because like a walk with my dog is going to calm me down and then I can take a step back from the school side of things and just focus more on like okay, my dog is literally my best friend and she's going to be there at the end of the week when all this stuff is done. So I feel like that's my way of like calming down and like looking at like aside from all the school stuff that's going on, and then everyone else like put it into their own real life scenario of how they would handle a situation or how they would use their mechanism.
Um, so for me, like when I get really stressed after coming home from work, I will just lay in my bed and watch my breathing. I think they call that like mindfulness,
Mhm.
where I kind of just take notice of my breath and the feeling of like my ribs expanding and closing, kind of like doing like a body scan. I feel like that helps me ground myself in the present moment so my mind isn't going to like, oh my God, I have to go back to work tomorrow and be up
Mhm.
at 6 a.m., make breakfast, drive people to school, then go to work and da, da, da. Like my mind just starts spiraling. So instead of doing that, what helps, like in my scenario, is just grounding myself in the present moment by focusing on like bodily sensations and just having like a neutral observation of that.
I feel like that's a good idea because I feel like sometimes like when I get home from work and stuff like that, I'm thinking about the next day already. And
Mhm.
I don't need to think about the next day. Like I need to stay in the moment of like, okay, work's done for the day. Let's focus on like the day, not, oh, tomorrow night I have to go back to work. So
Mm.
I think that's great.
I can relate to both of those things, what Haley and Alyssa said. Like, kind of taking everything, it sounds cliche, but like one day at a time is
Mhm.
helpful so much because I do that too, where I like look ahead and I'm like, oh, you have this. And like, usually I'm good at the beginning of the week and it hits like Wednesday. And like at this point, we've lifted Monday, Tuesday, had practice, and I'm like already behind on my classes. So it's just like, I think using what Alyssa said will definitely help to just kind
Yeah.
of those mindful breathing techniques.
A good saying that has always been taught to me and my siblings from my mom. She has always taught us, and something that I really like to encourage people to do is be where your feet are. So you cannot control what happens tomorrow. You can't control what happened yesterday, and you cannot determine what's going to happen a year from now. You can only control what is happening in the present. So,
I love that.
stressing about what's going to, the finals that are due on Sunday, or stressing about, this big test you have on Friday, or like big softball game you have tomorrow, you cannot control the outcome of those currently. So something that I have always encouraged people to do is if you're having those anxiety or stress, just brainstorms. Something that has always helped me and something I encourage people to do is just be where you are.
Mm. I like
Look at
that.
your surroundings, pick five things that you see, two things that you can smell, three things you can feel. Something that is just going to help you hone back into the present. So, I know
Yes,
some
I love it.
people encourage deep breathing, or taking, a 10-minute nap or something like that. That doesn't always help me. So sometimes I have to find five physical things I can see, four things I can feel, just being able to come back into the present, instead of just letting my mind ramble into this big cloud of stress and anxiety. Um, Something that we want each of you participants to do is create one small goal for the next time we meet. And that goal is to find a way to lower your stress or anxiety, even if it's just by a little bit. Again, maybe you just need to sit down for 5 minutes or walk your dog for 20 minutes, or just, maybe make a list of things that are going good in your life. Um, if you need to write in a journal, again, I've heard a few people say that journaling helps a lot or coloring. Any way you can just get those thoughts just a little bit outside of your head just to kind of help you guys de-stress or relax. Any way that you can manage to lower your stress or anxiety. Does anyone want to share a goal they might create, something manageable within a week to lower their stress or anxiety?
This might seem like a weird one, but I think a goal for me is probably waking up and the first thing I'm doing is a body scan, like a mental body scan of like my breathing and just doing that to put me in the present moment the moment I wake up. Because if I wake up and then I pick up my phone, then those thoughts are like, oh, I need to respond to this person. I need to do this. This is this. And then I'm already stressed just by doing that. So I just feel like if I wake up and I just calm myself down by just focusing on, okay, this is my breathing, this is how my body feels, it keeps me in a more calm and relaxed state where then I can later tackle the things that I need to do in the day. But it's very hard to tackle things when you're overwhelmed. So, a goal of mine would probably be wake up and do something that grounds me in the present moment in a way where everything else can be less overwhelming.
Yeah, that's good.
It sounds realistic and really achievable. It's not too out there.
Would anybody else like to share anything? It's okay
Um,
if not. I don't want anyone to feel pressured to have to share their realistic goal.
no, it's something I'm just gonna start a routine that I'm gonna start doing in the morning and at night before I go to bed since I have a stressful day. So in the
Mhm.
morning, I'm going to start because I have to be at work at 7:30 and my kids have to be at school at 7:30 too. So we wake up like five something. So I'm going to start doing some yoga in the morning and then when I come home and decompress and everything's done, do yoga again for at least
I
10
love
minutes
that.
in the morning and then 10 at night.
I love yoga, so that's
I do
great.
too. I might do that.
That's such a good idea.
It makes you feel so much better
It
too,
really
mind and
does. You feel
body.
so calmed. I don't, I
Hmm. And you feel stretched. I
Yeah,
love that
I
idea.
need to
love
stretch.
that.
Well, what's
Hmm.
nice about technology nowadays is you don't have to go to a physical class. If you just want to turn on the
Mhm.
TV or your computer or phone and just watch someone, you know, just one person just explaining how to do yoga or deep breathing, because those are some things I've done in the past just to kind of help my stress or anxiety. Listen to someone explain how to, okay, come back to your senses or, do a 10-minute yoga or stretch, anything like that. So with technology nowadays, it's pretty accessible to a lot of people.
Yeah.
All right. I just want to thank everyone for participating and giving their insights of what they have gained and what works for them and stuff like that. Because I feel like sometimes it's hard to talk about that kind of stuff also because stress can be a sensitive topic. Same with anxiety. Like I wasn't expecting everybody to share. So I think it's great that everyone was open to being able to express their own feelings and how they cope with it. Because sometimes you can feel like, oh, that's a good idea. Like I should do that and stuff like that. So I think I gained some stuff that like I'd want to try also. So I think that's great. And I think that's why this group is important because everybody can gain in their own way of how stress happens. And it's also great to see everybody has their own way of stressors. Like it's not just you who's stressing. Like everybody's dealing with their own life stuff. And like it's sometimes hard to realize like I'm not the only one that's experiencing these stressors. So I think that's great. And I just want everyone to like share one thing that they gained from the like what they've gained from this session.
I've gained,
Better.
oops, sorry.
No, you can go ahead. You can go
Okay.
ahead.
I've gained like just so many new techniques that I could do that I'm like, I need to start doing yoga or I need to start journaling and stuff like that. So just like new ideas that I didn't even think of like on my own.
Yeah, that's great. Because me too. Like I would have never thought of doing yoga two
Yeah.
times a day. Because like
Yeah.
I'm always so like I'll wake up 10 minutes before my class starts. Like no, let's get up and like calm
No,
down
yeah.
before
Hmm.
the day starts.
Or like waking up in the morning and the first thing to not do is to look at your phone
Yeah.
or your iPad
That's
or
important.
computer.
Yeah,
Instead of just looking at
I've seen
social
that brother
media,
all the
just
time. And then I
Hmm.
still like continue to just grab my phone when I wake up, and I'm like, no, stop.
Well, because that's my
Just leave it.
alarm too. I mean, I just
Yeah.
need to buy a regular clock, and as soon as my alarm
Like, let's
goes off
go
on my
back into
phone,
the
I'm
time. Like,
like what TikTok did somebody send me today?
I have 60 new messages. Okay.
I just got to start reading them straight away in the morning. But I really like how Alyssa said to just take the first 5 minutes you wake up just to just hone in on your senses and just, figure out how you're going to feel for the rest of the day. I think that's really calming.
Yes, I agree with that. Um, I think throughout this meeting, I basically learned that there are different methods that you can do for relaxation, and like not everyone will react to the same sort of thing the same way, kind of like with breath work. I don't know if you guys know breath work, but for some people, if you do breath work, it will give them like panic attacks. So there are other ways that you can relieve stress. Um, like yoga, for example, that doesn't require like intense deep breathing.
Allison or Louis or Trey, anybody have any thoughts?
Yeah, I kind of was just going to parrot what everyone else is saying. I think it's always a good idea to listen to other people's experiences, and if something works for someone else, just try it out and see if it'll work for you. I really like when Louis was talking about like eating a meal or taking a shower. That type of thing, I feel like just focusing on a really basic like task to do, I think is good to help get your mind off of other things. So yeah, I loved hearing what everyone had to say about what helps them and hopefully incorporating that.
Yeah, on my part, it was absolutely about just learning the different ways that people use to process. Those are things that I may not be familiar with in doing, but it's worth a try.
During this session, I like basically it was great. I loved hearing everyone's experience with dealing with the stresses and what we can do to prevent and techniques that we all can try.
Great.
100%.
Yes. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thanks.
guys. We
Thank
will see you
you.
next week. Thank you.
Thank you.